Solve and check equations. This is going to be fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for the variable, get a number answer, and then check if it's actually correct. So you'll know if you get it right or wrong. So what are we going to do here? We're going to use in to isolate the variable. To isolate the variable. Sounds fancy. Use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So inverse means opposite. These are the operations. So we're going to use the opposite operations, or and something like that. Okay, so what do I mean? Now we're going to start super easy so that we can learn the steps. Okay, so the first problem, 2x equals 18. So 2 times what equals 18? Now, you probably already know the answer, but how do you show that you're going to solve it? Here's what you do. You look at the variable, and you ask yourself, what is happening to the variable? It's getting multiplied by 2. What's the inverse, or the opposite, of multiplying by 2? Dividing by 2. So that is what you're going to do. You're going to divide by 2. Now, picture this equation. It's got a center here. Whatever you do to the left side of the equation, you have to do to the right side. So we're going to do the same thing over here. And that will keep the equation balanced, all right, which you need to do. So over here, we're left with just x. That's what we wanted. 18 divided by 2 is 9. That's what we thought. So that's what we think our answer is. Now we're going to check. Every time you check, you need to label it. Either CK or write out the whole word check. And you're going to copy the original problem. So 2x equals 18. Now you're going to fill in what you thought your answer is. So we think x is 9. It's kind of like, is this going to work? And then make sure you actually do the 2 times 9. Yeah, 18. That does equal the other side. And my favorite part, we're going to put a check mark to mark that it does work out. All right? And that's it. So let's practice a couple other ones here. Number 2. What if it was x plus 7 equals 20? You know, picture the equation. You can put those dots, help you stay organized. How are you going to get x by itself? Well, it has a plus 7 next to it. What's the opposite of plus 7? Minus 7. So we're going to subtract 7 here. We're going to do the same on the other side of the equation, keep it balanced. So here, those cross off, we're left with, and 20 minus 7 is 13. So that's what we think our answer is. Notice I am putting the equal sign on the dots. I'm trying to line it up right underneath. That is very important. Stay organized. And now for the check. Label it. Copy the original problem. Sub in your answer. Is this actually going to work? 13 plus 7. And that works. Very nice. Okay, one more one step here. This sometimes looks like a scary one. X over 3 equals negative 2. X over 3 equals negative 2. So that's like saying x divided by 3 equals negative 2. Now, what is the opposite of dividing by 3? Well, multiplying. And how you're going to show that is you're going to use parentheses, because that groups the entire side of the equation that you're multiplying by 3. All right, so here that's going to cancel out. You're left with x. Put the equals in the middle. And do this math. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. All right, check please. Copy the original problem. Label the check, copy the original problem. Sub in your answer. So we think x is -6, we're going to sub it in. Now, does this actually work? -6 divided by 3, you betcha. Checkaroos. Nice. Okay, now these were all one-step problems because we really did one thing and we got to the answer. The next thing we're going to do is two-step problems, and obviously that will take 2 steps. All right, so what are we up to here? Number 4, and I lost my notes. Okay, so let's try a 2-step problem. How about, crooked here, how about 3x minus, all right, so now we've got a couple things going on. With the variable, right? It's got times 3 and -8. Now, when you solve, you're kind of unraveling something. So you know how normally for order of operations we do PEMDAS? Well, when you're solving, it's kind of going backwards. You're actually going to do PEMDAS backwards, which is SADMEP. So backwards, which thing would you take care of first? The multiplication or the subtraction if you're going SADMEP? You'd actually take care of this first, the -8. So what's the opposite of -8? +8. So that's how we're going to start. So we get rid of that. We're left with 3x. So you have to bring everything down that you didn't get to cross off. Do this math. 13 plus 8 is 21. And now this is a problem like we were just doing. 3 times x equals 21. How do you get x by itself? You have to get rid of the times 3. So you're going to divide by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So we think our answer is 7. Let's check it out. Check, please. Copy the original problem. Sub in your answer. So we think x is equal to 7. So where x is, we're going to plug in a 7. To check, you do normal PEMDAS. I don't know if we should write that. So when you solve, it's SADMEP. When you check, it's PEMDAS. So here we would multiply. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 minus 8, does that actually work? Yes. So we get 13, and we get to check. Work. This one looks hard. Okay, number 5. We'll just do a couple more, guys. You're doing good. Let's do x over 2 plus x equals 10. X over 2 plus 6 equals 10. All right, what would you do first? Well, you would try to get rid of that plus 6. So let's subtract 6. Subtract 6. X over 2 equals 4. Ooh, x over 2. That's x divided by 2. How do you undo that part? You're going to multiply by 2. So 4 times 2 is going to give you 8. So we think our answer is 8. All right, let's check it out. Copy the original problem. Sub in your answer. Is this going to work? So I would do 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 and 6, that works. And there you go. All right. Could I trick you? I could perhaps throw in a negative. That could be mean and unusual. Let's do it. This will be our last one. All right. Okay, let's try negative 3x plus 2 equals negative 16. If you want those dots, you can. All right, so looking at the x, what would you do first? It's got a times 3, it's got a plus 2. We need to get rid of the plus 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Write it on the side. Negative 16 minus 2. I would probably think I better do negative 16 plus a negative 2. You actually should get negative 18 here. Okay? Well, we didn't do this either. X is being multiplied by negative 3. You need to divide by negative 3. Okay, so you always divide by whatever that number is. If that's a positive, you divide by a positive. If that's a negative, you divide by a negative. All right, so a negative divided by a negative is a positive 6. We think the answer is positive 6. All right, let's check it. Check, please. Negative 3x plus 2 equals negative 16. Let's sub in a 6. Is this going to work? Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Is that going to work? Yes. Signs are different, so you really subtract them. You get a 16, and it's going to be negative because the 18 is bigger, and it's negative. Check. All right. Good job.